What's up, Beat Your Fam? Welcome back to our channel. My name is Ray.
And my name is Sasha.
And you're watching
Beat Your Dynasty.
I know I gave it months ago. I know you're trying to forget. I know I gave it.
If this is your first time tuning in, like we always say, go ahead and do us a favor, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we upload a video. We've created a reactions playlist, a vlogs playlist, and some other playlists for you so you can, binge watch our videos until the next one is uploaded. And the links to those playlists can be found down below. By the way, happy Black History Month for those of you who celebrate or live in the United States. We're checking out a video. It's called The First Time I Realized I Was Black, Finding Out Your Skin Color Matters. And I know asking that question, like, when did you first realize you were black? It sounds a little weird and awkward because, you're born this way, but there are moments of self-realization, so to speak. It happens, and sometimes it's not in the best way. It really shouldn't matter whether you're black or white or Asian or, whatever you are. Love is love. But we're gonna go ahead and check out this video and see what's going on.
Moment, we were stopped because this police officer thought that my father was driving in a car with a white woman and 4 kids that he didn't know from where, and wanted to make sure she wasn't lying.
My earliest memory, one of my strongest memories, is when I was around 10. I remember being at school, 5th grade, playing football with a bunch of the kids. And in elementary school, at least, I was one of the bigger kids. And so I tackled this one kid who was one of the smaller kids at the time. He was upset, maybe embarrassed, and he called me a nigger.
Damn.
I kind of blacked out. Honestly remember nothing in the next few seconds. And by the time I actually remember what was going on, his face was really close to mine. And I realized that he was purple. And I realized that he was purple because
you punched him.
My hands were around his neck and he wasn't breathing. And suddenly I was freaked out. This kid made me lose control. This one word, had complete and utter control over me in some ways.
I had gone on a church retreat with a friend of my mom's. And we go up to the church retreat, and it's like, a cabin in the woods, and so people brought their, things for the weekend. Well, on the way out of the cabin, we're taking out the things from the weekend, and one of the guys I was bunking with brought a small television. So I grabbed the TV to take to the bus. And no lie, someone called the police on me.
I moved to France in 1983. One morning I woke up, and I was going to school. I crossed my neighbor that was coming back from the pastry store. At one point we crossed path, and I said bonjour, and then he freezes. He's like looking at me like trying to escape, like I was just gonna stab him. And it was so shocking and so painful for me.
There was a young white girl sitting next to me, and she reached for the Coke can, and the guy said, no, don't drink that. Felt a little awkward, but drank my Coke, and we kept talking. And then we got on the buses and we went back home. The young white girl started crying, and I asked her what was wrong, and she said, they told me later that everybody in the room spat in your Coke while you were outside.
Oh my goodness.
And that's why they didn't want me to drink out of that can, and I'm so sorry.
When I went to go visit my grandparents in Texas, and my grandfather's white, so we went to the grocery store one day, and this lady came over to us, and I was about 7. And she came over to us and looked down at me and said, oh, she's really beautiful. That's really nice of you to adopt her. And my grandfather is usually very calm and patient, but his face just turned red. And at that moment, I realized that me and my grandfather did not look alike.
I was 15 years old. I was in high school. And one afternoon, I was hanging out with my friend Rob. At one point, we got split up. And as I was waiting for Rob to show up again, I decided, nope, I'm going to find him. And as I walked out, this man behind me said, excuse me, I need to talk to you. I turned around, and it was a white guy, probably in his 30s, and he looked at me and said, I need to search your pockets. And I said, why? He said, I got a report that you took something. And I hadn't taken anything, and then I said to him, I know my rights, but I didn't really know my rights, so I let him search my pockets. I also thought if he searches my pockets, he'll realize there's nothing in there, and he'll let me go on my way. But once he found out there was nothing in my pockets, it didn't deter him, and he grabbed me by the back of the coat and walked me downstairs and physically threw me out into the streets. And I was standing in front of the record store, sort of embarrassed and humiliated, even though I hadn't done anything, and I sat there starting to cry. It wasn't until that moment that I realized being black meant the exact same thing in the current era as it had meant throughout the history of this country. That at any point a white person could harass you for no good reason, and you kind of would have to take it.
Wow. What did you think? What did you think about that?
That was intense. I kind of wanted to give my take on it when I realized that I was black, but listening to their stories, like, I have nothing like that, and I can only thank God that I don't have a story like that, because that is just, those are horror stories. You know, they really went through something traumatic, and I can only thank God that I never went through anything like that.
Because I grew up in the Caribbean, so everyone was the same. It wasn't until I migrated to the United States where I started to interact with all these different cultures and people. And I remember I was 13 years old, and my history teacher, she showed us a documentary about slavery and the history of the civil rights movements and all that. And like, I remember leaving the classroom and being so angry because I had a lot of white friends. We used to play Pokemon cards and watch Dragon Ball Z and hang out all the time.
The geek crew.
Shut up. And I had a lot of white friends, and I felt angry because I felt like I was cheated out of something. And, you know, this is my first time really learning about slavery and the things that my ancestors went through. And so I was angry with my white friends for something that they had no control over, that they didn't do. I was angry at an entire race at 13 years old because there was like no context with the documentary that she showed to us. It took me like a good few months, at least 4 to 6 months, to actually get over anger that I had. As time went by, I started to socialize again with my friends, and I started to understand that not everybody is like that. Not everyone has hate in their heart. Not everyone is a racist. Not everything that happens to you that's bad happens to you because you're black. Be smart about what you say and what you think. Don't just go throwing a race card around, because it's a very serious thing. Okay. So when was the first time you realized that you were black?
Okay, so it's not a long story like Ray's here. I'm gonna keep it really short and say that the time that I realized I was black was mainly the ending of elementary school, kind of going into middle school, all of middle school, when I was bullied. I was bullied for being black. I was bullied for being a dark-skinned girl.
Bullied by who? You, like other black people?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I was bullied by other black people for being darker than them. That's when I thought that maybe I'm not as pretty because, you know, I'm not as light as them, or I'm not light. My skin is darker than theirs. So that's when I realized I was, you know, I was black. I was a black girl. We're all beautiful and things like that, but I didn't feel like that inside. So yeah. That's the end of our video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a story to share, leave it down below. Leave any story that you know of someone that had to go through something like this down below if you care to share. And we will see you in the comments down below.
We love you guys so much, man. Thank you so much for all your love and support, and for being a part of our family. All right, take it easy.
Bye.
I know I gave it, 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 gave it,